was in the middle of one of my world tours. I remember I was in Gothenburg, Sweden. I hadn't been able to sleep for hours. I was supposed to get up in 2 hours for a 10-hour seminar. And I was just standing in front of a window. It was like 4th or 5th floor. And I was looking down and I had that thought in my head. It just came in and said, you know what, if you open the window and jump, it'll all be over. And that was the only time I had a thought like that. It really, really shocked me. And it was tough to hear that, to be honest.
But it didn't start out like this. Actually, it was going very well. So let's start at the beginning of the end, so to speak. I was part of an elite squad of dating coaches. I was touring the world for 4 years. I learned the secrets behind social dynamic marketing that generated me my first million and created a brand so powerful that people would literally end up camping in front of my house because of what I thought was so powerful to them. And I broke all kinds of records. Fastest growing dating brand in the world, one of the biggest dating brands in the world, one of the best paid, if not even the best paid dating coach in the world. And then at the top of my game, I did something so crazy, so out of the norm that left my friends, my family, my followers completely speechless because I left. And it was a decision so abrupt, so quick, that many people had no idea what was going on. So let's dive into what made me quit a $3 to $5 million a year business and the crazy, excruciating lessons that you can learn from that if you're someone who wants to make money and build an empire, because it's not what you think it is.
What was the main reason why you left?
It was quite a natural transition. Actually, towards the end of my dating coaching career with RSD, I actually ended up getting quite a lot of clients that would buy my dating mentoring program to ask me business questions. And I remember specifically this one guy, he bought the one-on-one mentoring with me for $25,000, and he was a little older, he was in his mid-40s, and in the first session with him, I asked him, okay, let's talk about girls, what are you looking for, what are your goals? And he's like, oh, happily married for 10 years, Max, I just bought this program so I can ask you business questions. And there was more and more of these guys. Plus, on my personal side, I really started feeling passion for brand building, business, understanding the dynamics, the social dynamics that go into building something and then monetizing it. And it was the same kind of passion I felt years before for teaching dating. So on one hand, it was something within me that transitioned naturally into teaching that. And on the other hand, I felt like my audience was ready, and I also kind of had the track record of my own brand and monetization that kind of backed up that what I can teach could actually work for other people too. And at the same time within RSD, there was a couple of small changes that weren't really instructor centric, and that was nothing due to Owen or Nick or anything like that. It was actually us instructors who kept asking RSD for more structure, and then RSD was like, okay, let's hire a separate CEO. He can then set up all the structure. Let's just give this guy all the power to set things up. And then that CEO wasn't the perfect fit for what we needed in the company, in my opinion. And he had a couple implementations that weren't really beneficial for the instructors. So that came together there. There was a little bit of conflict between me and that new CEO. Later on, it was all fine. I'm actually now on pretty good terms with that guy. But that in combination with the natural transition for me and for my clients kind of made me pull the trigger, and I said, hey, let me teach business. I think it's really, really freaking cool. And then the most important point for me was I didn't want to split my focus between the dating offer and the business offer. I knew that if I really want to get good and deliver the highest quality for my clients in the business offer, or any offer for that matter, I can't try to run 2, 3, 4, 5 that vastly different offers simultaneously. And that's why I said, I think it's time for me to cut ties, do it in a very amicable way so I can focus fully on the business coaching. And we're on our way now to meet ex-RSD Alex. I'm going to kick his ass in karting. I'm going to get him on the Max Tornow podcast as well, and we'll see who wins. I think it was a good first sesh. The car felt great. Obviously P1 is good, but the weekend is long. Our competition is strong. Let's see what we can bring for the big race.
Just a practice where being light counts for everything. So let's go to the big one and see how we actually go. That's where the big boys race.
This is the bigger and faster track, aka how Alex says the real track, because he just lost the first round. Exactly 80.
Wow, you're low, man. Oh, 85. 85 with the.
Okay.
So you take 5.
So I get 5 kilo weight.
Shit, now I really gotta.
That's heavy.
Alright, give me a sec. This GoPro working. What's my GoPro?
What a race!
Awesome.
Good one, man.
That was
some good
battle.
fucking racing, man.
Yeah, it's cool.
Oh, 500s, man. We're 500s apart from each other, man.
I'm claiming track position
that
today.
was-
That's track position today. Yeah.
Yeah, overall, very happy with the result. P1 2 times in a row. We had some very tough battles, though. Factory did everything they could. The upgrades worked. I'm pretty happy.
Another good weekend for me. Track position coming in first place. 2 overtakes with 1 opponent. But a brilliant battle. Finally, I met my match.
Yeah.
Same weight, same skill set.
And a little bit better.
Different skill set.
Little
And
bit better
then
skill set.
even I could push them to go faster to get the best time. But track position, that's the checker flag, that's all that
not
matters.
what matters.
That's
but
all
okay.
that matters
I do give
today.
you that.
Glory coming under the checkered flag barrier. I pulled ahead, I gave some charity, slowed down by 10 seconds, allowed to come by. But that was good.
So back to that fateful night in Gothenburg where I stared out the window and I had that one crazy thought. I really realized I was massively burnt out. So I needed to focus more on the business aspect of dating coaching and the scaling and automation aspect rather than the touring aspect. And that was really kind of like my first step towards proper entrepreneurial thinking, so to speak. But you might be wondering now too, is there still bad blood between me and RSD? Who am I still in touch with and who am I not? And most importantly, maybe you're also asking yourself, how did I go from that sad Max on tour to crushing it with the businesses, having awards like this? We cracked 8 figures in cash collected 2023. How did I go from that to this now? And most importantly, what takeaways can you get from that? Because I guarantee you, if you're in your 30s or 40s or even in your 20s, you do not want to make the same mistakes I made. These almost cost me my life. So definitely still pay attention and let's keep watching.
Is there any bad blood between you and the guys?
Not really. In the beginning, I wanted to have a little bit of a separation. So there was a period where we didn't talk too much. And I'll get more into why that was in a second. But I'm talking to all the guys. I'm hanging out with Julian on our little WhatsApp thingy that we have. We send each other memes. I'm sometimes in touch with Todd, but I feel like he doesn't really want to talk too much to me, which is fine. I feel like I'm kind of getting on his nerves. Jeff and I hung out. I've had him on the podcast. Madison and I hung out. We've had him on the podcast twice now, actually. And I'm really happy because I felt like I don't want to be the instructor that leaves and then never stays in touch with these guys. I mean, I feel like they're my brothers and we have something in common that I have with no one else in common.
Why are you talking about RSD now but not before?
Well, like I said, I wanted a clean cut in there and I kind of didn't want to hitchhike on my fame from the dating advice brand that I had built for the business brand. I kind of wanted to prove to myself and to others that I can build something entirely from scratch, from the ground up. And mind you, in the beginning, we did hitchhike a little bit on my old audience. It actually made us quite a lot of money. But then I said, no more of that. Let me make a clean cut. Let me build something from scratch to prove everyone that I can actually do it again, that what I'm teaching in terms of brand building and business starting can be replicable.
Do you have any regrets?
I definitely regret the brotherhood. This is, I think, one thing that you're not aware of because there's not a lot of people who travel the world as dating coaches, so not a lot of people can relate. And we were like these 6-7 instructors, all kind of like going to Vietnam, and everybody who didn't do it can't really relate to us. So I kind of regret the brotherhood. I mean, we've been to restaurants, all of us, and we were like the loudest, funniest table out of all of them, and none of us drank alcohol, and we just had the most fun ever. And I think a lot of times, especially towards the end, there was a lot of competition, positive competition. And I felt like towards the end, specifically my focus was like, oh, I'm making all this money and I'm not gonna travel overseas unless I make at least 200K from the one speech that I'm given. And I think, you know, me being very young, I didn't really realize how much the brotherhood actually meant to me. And I think the other one is, when I did leave, I think I could have left in a more supportive way. Like I said, I wanted to make a real clean cut and like, I was in, now I'm out, let's go. If I had to do it over again, I would be like, hey, let's keep doing collabs, and you know, I'm doing the business stuff now. I'll bring you guys on my channel.
So you bought this dress right now?
Yeah.
Like in the city, and then you got dressed and you went here and waited for us?
Yeah, because I didn't like the dress that I was wearing earlier.
My experience with leaving was very different. So we did the business coaching, freedom business mentoring.
That wasn't really anything within RSD.
No, not
You're
at all.
completely separate.
Completely separate. And we were making around 300K, 350K a month with the RSD Max dating online. And then the first month of freedom business mentoring, I think we also made 300K. I think it either outsold it very closely or it was very close to outselling RSD Max. The second month we made even more. And then I was like, I had a really, really tough talk with myself. Is my heart in this? Is my soul still in this? Does the client deserve me separating my focus, splitting my focus in half? And then I said, right now I'm still 100% committed to the RSD Max dating stuff, but this business stuff is getting really serious.
Yeah.
I need to make a decision. And then I really waited off because I love the dating stuff, love the dating brand.
I still love it, man.
But I also love the new stuff. I love the business stuff, and I became so passionate about business and brand building, and I realized, like, tough talk, hands down, I'm more passionate about this.
You're probably the master of brand building, to be honest. Like everyone who knows about you, you're absolutely brilliant at it. It's like you're at the top of everyone's feeds. It's brilliant.
I think it was meant to be, because we taught social dynamics for years. You still do it.
Yeah.
And then I basically teach social dynamic marketing with my brand building. We did the business coaching. That was 2018 or 19. I can't remember. It's like I felt like with the dating stuff, I did it for 4 years. I left nothing on the table. I broke all the records I wanted to break. I taught all the things I wanted to teach. I brought up all the programs I wanted to bring out. I did everything I did. I want it all. So I'm like, it's time to leave. And then I shot an SMS a WhatsApp to Owen. He was also super nice. He's like, sorry to see you go, man, but all the best, yada, yada. Julian was one of the first ones that hit me up. He's like, dude, all the best, man. Let's keep crushing. Hey, if you want to collab and all that jazz. Really, really cool.
Julian's cool, yeah.
Yeah. I started doing business consulting full time. We're crushing it in the first month. Second month, crushing even more. And I think the third month, we cracked $500,000 a month. It was the first time I cracked $500,000 in revenue in a month. And with very high profit margins. I think we must have had 50 to 60% profit margins. Insane. Because it was all organic. Oh, wow, yeah. So we were crushing it for that. But me being me, I'm like, paid traffic. We should do fucking paid traffic. I want to run ads. I want to crush it with ads as well. It's not enough for me to just sell to my audience.
Yeah.
I want to do paid traffic. Little did I know, it's a completely different world to crack cold traffic. Just to give you an example. You're a closer in my company. Guy books a call inbound. I'm a huge Max fan. Love Max. Been following him. I want him to teach me how to build a coaching business, yada, yada. Person says, I got to think about it. And they could just be like, look, you think Max is going to appreciate that? Like, you think Max is cool, thinks you're cool if you need to think about it? You know, haven't you learned from Max that, like, you got to execute? And they're like, yeah, you're right. Okay, I'm in. That was the objection handling, right?
Yeah.
You bring on from cold traffic, someone sees an ad from you, doesn't know you. They just click on an ad, they fill out the calendar, they book a call. Yeah, I got to think about it. I don't fucking know you guys. And the closer's like, oh, do you think Max? They're like, I don't know who the fuck is Max. Who the fuck? I just saw a fucking ad. Fuck you. They're literally like, well, then I'll buy somewhere else. Fuck off, right? So we had to eat shit so much the first couple months, and ads are expensive, so we would just blow $60,000 a month in ads and got nothing back. Nothing. We would still make money from organic, but I'm like, this sucks. I don't want to spend $60K a month and get nothing out of there. So I had to make a decision, And to be honest, I would have had every right to just say, I'm making my $500K a month, all organic. I'm going to do this for another year, save up $5 million, live up happily ever after, maybe invest in some real estate, and that's it. Sayonara, motherfuckers. Or I just eat shit for 2 years, losing half my sales staff because they're used to easy sales and easy sales commission.
Super warm, yeah.
Don't want to do the cold traffic, reinvent myself, make a hard cut from my old brand, just reinvent myself and completely start pitching and closing completely cold people. What do? Fuck it. I want to figure out the hard stuff. I'm going to eat shit for 2 years. It's not enough for me to do well. And this has always been in my brain. It kind of goes back to what you've asked me earlier. That drive was, I always did the more difficult thing. And I really, really had to reinvent myself. I had to go from Max, the dating coach, to someone more professional, someone more profound. I had to really make sure that every single client I deliver to, I over-deliver. And then we did crack cold traffic to a point where actually now, the last 2 years, we only sold cold traffic.
So did you crack it by trial and error, or you bought on some really good consultants? To
Everything,
kind of show
both.
you the way? Yeah, but
a lot of trial and error.
Yeah.
A lot of expensive mentoring of great fucking mentors. Completely
great,
revolutionized my entire sales team.
Yeah.
Fired or lost my entire sales team except for 2 guys. You take something that looks really complicated and you break it down to like 3-4 core pillars.
Sure.
And that's also, by the way, funny enough, that's what I had to do to reinvent my company to make cold traffic work. Because when you run paid ads and cold traffic, paid ads, paid advertising, aka cold traffic, you're doing marketing on very hard mode, on brutal mode, basically. And when I made that decision of, okay, I'm going to go all in, I'm going to choose the hard part no matter what, I had to start breaking down everything that was going on in my company, from a person signing up from an ad all the way to the sales call, to the reminder to the sales call, first call, second call, close, and so on and so forth. And what I did was nonstop listening to sales calls of my staff. AirPods, hands-free mode, basically everything I did all day.
That's hard work.
When I'm not working on the business, when I'm like making steak, doing the dishes, taking my walk, sitting on the toilet, I would have my AirPods in, listening to sales calls.
Fuck, yeah.
And then I would learn how to record ads, learn the system behind recording ads. I used to hate recording ads. Nowadays, we record around 100 ads in an afternoon.
Jesus.
And then I had an epiphany because I had never done sales calls myself. I sold from stage, like you and I, when we sold free to. And I'm like, I'm listening to these sales calls. I'm like, this is literally like social dynamics. This is literally like dating.
Yeah.
And I would listen to a sales call of a closer, and for example, the person on the call would say, I'm not sure about it if I want to buy. I got to think about it. And then the closer did structurally the correct thing. They would ask them, money aside for a second, what do you think about the steps that we've discussed? And the person said, they're fine, I guess. And the closer hears, oh, well, he said fine, so that's good. And so that's not an objection. And then they would move on and try to find another objection. But I'm like, you didn't hear that they said, I guess? You didn't hear the tonality? Does that sound like someone who's 10 out of 10 sure? So I'm like, this is literally what I would hear on a date when I'm talking to a girl, even though she says fine. I mean, this is a kind of obvious example for some people, but the tonality at the end doesn't give me assurance. It doesn't sound like they're very sure of it. So I would literally then go on all these meetings and all these extra Zoom sessions with my sales staff, and I'm saying like, hey, listen to this tonality. And the next thing I knew, I was teaching social dynamics in a weird way to my sales guys, what I used to teach. And all of a sudden my sales guys, most importantly, Nico, started getting really fucking good at that. They would hear what people would say between the lines. I chose to go down the hard path for 2 fucking years, eating shit. And now we get people that just buy from us right away. And now, 2024, by the time of the recording, we're doing both. That's why I started Max Tornow podcast again. That's why I get guys like you or the other RSD folks on, but even guys like we had Ty Lopez, we have
I'm sitting here thinking this is like the keys to heaven.
Yeah.
Right.
If you learn how to close cold traffic from paid advertising and you then add organic on top of that, you're done forever. What made me choose the hard part, again, and this is kind of the most important lesson that made me build a second multi-7-figure online coaching business, and that is the fact that You have to choose the path, not of least resistance, but the path of most growth, so to speak. Because creating wealth once is great, but what you want is a replicable mindset, a replicable skill set that can create you wealth whenever you want.
Den Heilbrunnen hat sommer da mit dem Traktor und mit umgefahren, die ganze Zeit. Na, Leute, da ist mit mir in die Schule gegangen, schon ein paar Wochen früher, und ich habe gesagt, na, kannst vergessen.
What advice would you give to people that are in similar position?
Take the leap. I took the leap with my first business. I mean, if you know the crazy story of how I even got started, you know. And then I took the leap again. And life begins at the end of your comfort zone. It's such a cheesy thing to say, but if you really think about it, your growth, your life, your full potential is at the other end of you taking that leap. It's gonna be uncomfortable, it's gonna be very lonely, and you're gonna fail, but it's always fucking worth it. And at the end, you're always just gonna look back and you're just grateful that you did it. Even if you failed, by the way, at least you know you tried. And I've done this when I first started. I said, hey, even if this dating coaching thing don't work out, I'll come home, I can still look myself in the mirror and I know I tried and I don't have to wonder what if. And then when I did it again, if I fail, at least I know I tried and I don't have to wonder what if. Thanks for watching. Check out the other videos.